It's time to dive beneath the surface and into the minds and hearts of your favorite celebrities and pop culture icons. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hey guys, what's up? You're watching Up and Adam. My name's Adam Knoll. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm the guy who's bringing you guys all the weekly interviews and recaps from your favorite celebrities and pop culture influencers. But for those of you who do know me, you know that that's not why we're always here, right? Guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell because you guys don't want to miss anything we have coming up. And that includes today's interview with Falynn Guobadia of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's jump right in. I just wanted to say, Falynn, thank you so much for joining me. You look absolutely stunning, just like you do on TV, so we weren't expecting anything but how are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. So I just wanted to kind of have you on because obviously you're a new face for us and Bravo super fans everywhere for the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise. People are so excited to see you on there because especially right now, everyone's kind of calling for a cast shakeup and saying that we need more personality on the show. There's something that's just not doing it for everybody, especially after many seasons of it being the front runner for Bravo as far as a Housewives franchise.
Right.
How has this experience been for you? That's a
a
lot, I know.
It's definitely been an experience. I'll give you that. It's been, honestly, this is my first reality TV show. And for me, the best way to describe it is just like, I was just having lunch with Kenya the other day and I told her, I said, listen, coming onto this show, it's like we're playing a game and everyone knows the rules to the game except for me. And I'm just kind of like, everybody's looking like, why don't you know this? It's really new. It's like my first day of school. But outside of that, once you get the hang of it and, I've gotten to know all of the ladies, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm sure, especially I come on here and I do recaps with a lot of other YouTubers and a lot of times we have housewife interviews and it's always fun to, I know that this season you filmed as a friend, but it's fun to talk to new women who come into the franchise, whether they're a friend of or a new housewife, because nobody gives you a rule book. It's like when you become a new parent, nobody's giving you a book on how to be the best parent, right? So you come into this awkward kind of situation where X amount of women know exactly what the filming dynamic is and how to put it on. And you're just like, okay, where do I fit in here?
Oh, what are we doing today?
Yeah.
Let's just go. Yeah, it's really like just, you get thrown into a lion's den. It's just really crazy.
I could see that. Well, and also for those of us, and I'm going to include myself, so I'm not just singling anybody out, but for those of us who might be living under a rock, you're not technically from Atlanta, right? You're from Florida.
I am.
What part?
I was born in Panama City, Florida. But I moved to Atlanta when I was about 6 months old. So I don't know anything about Panama City like that.
So you're an Atlantean.
Beach. Yeah, this is my home.
Okay. Well, that makes, I was about to say, hey, we have something to bond over because I'm from Palm Beach, but if you're from Panama and you left at 6 months old, you're kind of a Georgia peach at heart. That's fair to say.
Absolutely.
All right.
Here though.
And then you met your husband. I was actually shocked when I read this, and I don't know if this was mentioned on the show, but you didn't meet your husband too long ago, technically, right? You guys were married about 1.5 years ago?
Right, but we've been together for 4 years now.
4 years.
Yeah, so it's so interesting when I read everywhere, it's like, oh, they're just freshly married. No, we didn't just meet yesterday and then get married. We've been together for a little while.
And you guys have a few children together.
No, Simon and I do not have any children together whatsoever. I came into the relationship with 3 boys of my own.
Okay.
And he has 5 from previous relationships. So we make 8 in total.
So, okay. All right. Well, I mean, that would surprise most people, but for me, I come from a blended family of having 11 brothers and sisters. So for you, Yeah. And, everyone always talks to me about marriage and divorce. And I'm like, my parents, 11's our lucky number. I have 11 brothers and sisters, and my parents have collectively been married and divorced 11 times. So,
No.
yeah.
Oh man. So you know exactly the dynamics of my household.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure
Pretty
it's
crazy.
especially not the easiest being a stepmom, but it's also probably super rewarding in its moments too.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not just, the stepmom to them. I get along with his previous wives as well. So we co-parent effectively. We're all one big happy family. And I never thought I'd ever be able to say that, but I lucked up. Let's just say I lucked up to marry a man with such a good past, and to be able to blend those two together.
No, that's good. I like that. And do you mind, just for those of us who may not have known, or for those of us who might not know the story, how did you meet your husband?
It was actually, this is a very popular question. It was a blind date. I met Simon on a blind date. Yeah. We had a mutual friend at that time, and she was just eager. She was like, "Oh, listen, I need you to meet this guy." She never told me about his success or anything like that, because I'm just not that way. I know a lot of people think that, he's wealthy and I'm pretty and we just got to get. No, that was not it. I'm a complete dork. So when I met him, we went to lunch, and she came along because I was really nervous. And she came along for the lunch, and I think our lunch lasted about 2.5 hours. We could not stop talking. That was our first date. And I don't know, we've just been rocking ever since.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
No, I could see where that would be a popular question, because a lot of people want to know more about you, because we get teased with you on the show. We don't necessarily get to know too much unless Latoya is trying to pry it out of you. So with that, I think it's, as if I ask anything that's off limits, please, you can by all means just put me back in my place.
No, it's fine. I'm really an open book, honestly.
Well, if you're an open book, then I want to take you up on this, because a lot of people also want to know, if you're not filming and you're not being an amazing mom, an amazing wife, and doing everything else that you do, what would a normal day today look like for Falynn?
I usually wake up around 7 a.m. I eat my breakfast and I head off to the gym. I work out, and from there I'm painting. If I'm not doing anything with the children, I paint. So
That's therapeutic.
Yeah, it is. It truly is. I never paint when I'm upset, though. I only paint because I don't want any negativity, to go into my artwork. So I only paint whenever I'm in a good mood.
Just like breaking the canvas, like breaking your paintbrushes. Shit. Yeah.
Fuck this day. Yeah, no.
Okay, that's fair. So you're creative, you're artistic, that's therapeutic. I like that. And another I think popular question that we get when it comes to you is, I know that we got Real Housewives of Atlanta's rendition of this story, from what they showed us through editing, that you met Porsha and this is how you started filming. But do you have your own story of how you got involved with filming? I mean, a Bravo hit series. This is a hit series. It's a big show to be a part of. And like you said, it's a lot to be thrown into. But where did this even begin for you?
Honestly, they've been reaching out to me for a couple of years now. I've always said no, and I was always skeptical of being on a reality show. At that time, I didn't feel as though I was strong enough, to deal with everything that comes with being on a television series. So it just kind of, when I was ready, when it finally did come along, I wasn't even necessarily ready at the time. I just felt like, okay, you're stronger in your life now. I'm very spiritual. So at that point in time, I felt like I was very, spiritually bound. I was good. So when it came about again, I said, okay, I'll at least hear what the producers have to say. And when I talked to them, of course, they were able to talk me into it. I caved. And I said, why not? Fuck it. Let's do it. I'm ready. Yeah. And so at that point in time, I did meet Porsha at some point in time, and we had some conversation back and forth in the past. So it just made it a win-win, and there it went.
And there it went. Well, and, you know, I think a lot of people too, they forget, even, you know, I know this is Real Housewives of Atlanta, but just Real Housewives of New York person. Sometimes we get some of these franchises and we go for so many seasons with new casting, and then we realize we don't actually have any housewives, or not many. On New York, we don't have not one actual housewife. And in Atlanta, we have Candy. Now we have Cynthia, but Porsha wasn't. Tanya's not technically a housewife. LaToya's not a housewife. Kenya's on her way to getting a divorce. So you're kind of that well-rounded housewife that really has it all, that we haven't had in so many years. And it's interesting because you still, I mean, it just shows you kind of have this perfect setup. Not perfect, because nobody's life is perfect, but you have this amazing setup to where you don't necessarily want to put it out there for everybody to criticize and start picking apart. And that's exactly what happened when you started filming this season. I mean, you sat down, you came to Porsha's event, and I'm not trying to throw shade or anything at anybody, but the minute that you sit down, you immediately realize what getting thrown to the wolves is like, because you have another newbie this season sit there and ask you the age of your husband and just tell you to your face that they realize that you would have an older husband because you look like that kind of woman. Is that not beyond crazy to you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was beyond crazy. The old me probably would have responded in a very crazy way. But you know, it's nothing I haven't heard before. Simon is the first man I've ever even dated that was much older than me, let alone marry. You can't help who God has set up for you. You can't help who you fall in love with. And Simon and I make a perfect duo. You know, I'm a boss. I am a very strong and very independent woman. I have been through the grunges of the grunges in life, and I survived. And so naturally, when I meet a man of a certain stature, that's going to be attractive to a very secure man. So, you know, people who don't necessarily understand that it's not, it used to be offensive. Now it's just, you know, I call them surface people, you know.
Yeah,
they're just surface people. They can't see beyond anything outside of what's on the surface. And that's okay.
I mean, I can see that, not to cut you off, but I can totally see that too, where it's like at a certain point, you can't sit there and explain constantly your happiness or why you are happy or why someone works for you. It's almost like, why are you, with the person who has the other shoe on the foot, why are you questioning me? What makes you so unhappy to be investigating my life, I feel?
Well, I think most of us know why she's so unhappy. I mean, it's not like she hides her life, or that, you know, things have been thrown into the darkness. We can all see the type of person that she is. They've been very public and open about their issues and within their relationship. And I do, even for her, I wish her the best of luck in life. And I truly hope that she finds what it is that I have, because clearly she wants what I have. And had she come with it with a better, with a more openness and love and positivity about her, I probably could have introduced her to somebody who she was more, you know, she was more ready for. But it doesn't seem as though she too much loves herself. So
I like how you worded that.
For anything that I would be presenting to her.
Like, I could have gifted you a whole new life, but
yeah, well,
you closed that door. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, moving on. I appreciate your answers. And again, I also appreciate your time more than anything. So I'm not going to keep all of it, but I do have a few more questions. I wanted to know what it was technically like for you. I know that you model, but being on a reality show, what was it like for you your first time having all of the cameras and the production crew in your face? And I'm not talking about the interview process, but your actual first time being thrown into a filming situation.
I've been acting since I was 9. So although it's different, it's not like someone saying, here, take this script and read off the script and turn into another character, which for me is easy, but so it was a bit different, and I did have to kind of get my bearings and learn something completely new because it's reality TV. So everything that you guys see, it's real. So that was kind of it. It took me like a couple minutes, and after it was lights, camera, action, you really just get used to it. You don't even see, the lights and the producers running around and chasing you. I was really just more so interested in getting to know all the rest of the women on the show. And because I was so dialed in and trying to understand who they were as individuals, even outside of filming, I'm really, into learning about these women and their characteristics. Call me a dork. I love.
No, I mean, it's a powerhouse group of women.
Yes. And you want to be able to pick their brains. So I was really interested in picking their brains. So when you're dialed in, you're not really thinking or looking at, the producers and the cameras and things. And the producers, the entire crew, they're so sweet and genuine. They're just like, oh, run with it. Go. See, let's see. All the women loved me. Well, most of the women loved me. So it was pretty easy.
Well, speaking of all of the women and you getting along with them, I thank you for easily leading me into my next topic. Would you ever, I love that. Would you ever take on a full-time peach role? Would you be a full-time peach holder? Meaning, would you put all of your life out there on the Real Housewives of Atlanta and accept the cameras into your life in that capacity?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's a tall order.
I would. I had a lot of fun. Like I said, not everybody is favorable, but Batman always needs a Joker. Who's Batman without Joker? So I'm Batman, and we can have a little Joker on the side.
Wow, you're killing this. You also just led me into my next question. Thank you so much. So I have to ask you, because I think so many of us want to know, do you have a favorite? And I like to end with a positive, so we'll end with that. But do you have a least favorite castmate or cast member? And do you have a favorite cast member? And that could either be when you started or today. You can leave that part of mystery if you even want to answer the question. But I think we're curious who you jived with and who you didn't.
Sure. I mean, like I said, I get along with most of the women. I think it's pretty clear as to the person that I don't necessarily get along with. I think most people aren't very favorable of her, but yeah, so that's pretty clear. But as far as the person I get along with the most, as of right now, I would have to say Candy. Candy is also a Taurus. I'm a Taurus. So we vibe on that level. I love Drew. I absolutely love Kenya. And as you all know, I'm cool with Porsha. So Marlo, I love Marlo. I mean, and Cynthia and I, we still have to have that one-on-one. We haven't yet had that chance to have that one-on-one. But even still, I was cool with Cynthia. So everyone is pretty
nice.
Yeah, pretty nice.
And it's interesting that you get on so well with Kenya, especially because Kenya is kind of right there, along the lines with LaToya. They both like to sort of instigate each other. At least that's what editing shows us on the show. Sometimes I get in a lot of trouble if I do recaps or if I do interviews and I talk about Kenya and I'm like, why is she acting this way? And people are like, you're going after Kenya. And I'm like, I'm not. I'm just simply pointing out what is on the screen. I mean, there were a lot of inconsistencies this season. And I mean, mind you, they took a private jet while they put everybody on a hot, sweaty bus. They took the best rooms while Marlo got the blue room. You know what I mean? There are certain situations, people got crab cake, some didn't. There are certain situations where there was some questionable activity. And I also thought it was interesting, just the fact that Kenya, and this is great that you guys are friends now, but didn't necessarily want you joining the group at first with your private jet when Porsha mentioned you, and then all of a sudden did the exact same thing. But people have to also, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't know if, well, you have to also understand Kenya's dynamic and where she's coming from. I'm a very understanding person. And I love, like I said, I love accepting people for who they are, not who I want them to be.
Right.
So, Kenya, she has a daughter. She has a nanny. You know, we're in the middle of COVID. I understand you have to bring your baby. You don't necessarily have the proper team to be able to care for your baby, especially at such a young age. You don't have anybody at home to care for that baby right now, especially with everything that she's going through in her personal life. And I think a lot of the fans, they sometimes forget that, you know, that at the end of the day, she still is a single mom right now.
Yeah.
And she has to do what she has to do. And I can respect that because I've been there as well. So if taking a private jet, you know, is what you have to do in order to keep your daughter safe, then that's just what you have to do. And regardless of whether she wanted me to take my jet or not, I mean, I could care less. No woman is going to tell me what they want me to do or not. I ended up taking my own Sprinter anyway. Me, my husband, and my entourage team that I love so much, we all piled up in my own Sprinter and then we drove down. And it wasn't any shade at anybody. I'm just a grown woman and I can travel however it is that I want to travel. And I don't owe that answer to anybody else, and neither does Kenya.
Two things. One, did it take you 8 hours or did it take you 4?
You know, honestly, what people didn't get to see on this show, my bus broke down. So it took us a little longer. My driver didn't realize that the gas gauge was getting low because there's 2. So she didn't realize that it was getting low. She was reading the wrong one. So we ended up having to pull over. We broke down. So it took me a lot longer to get there. But yeah, and I was in the house next door. I got my own house separate from all the ladies because I did bring all of my people. Once again, COVID. Not going to bring, you know, everybody into that home and everything like that.
Right.
My husband, I was getting to know all the rest of the women for the first time. My husband was not going to allow me to get on the bus with essentially a whole bunch of strangers. And we haven't gotten to, you know, properly meet everyone just yet. He wasn't going to put me in harm's way. Not saying that anybody would be harmful, but, you know,
you still get your shady bunch.
Husband. Yeah. So we ended up traveling on our own and we got our own house next door.
Well, see, I'm glad you can enjoy that right now while you're not a full-time peach holder, because
right.
I feel like when they do give you that peach, yeah, you're going to be stuck on that same Sprinter, that hot, sweaty Sprinter with the rest of everybody else. But
you know what? And I'm fine now. I know all of the ladies now and I know how we get along. I know how to deal with, so yeah, I'm okay now. So it would be easy. It would be nothing for me to go and travel with them. We'll probably end up taking my jet. I'm not a big fan of driving or riding on a bus. We'll take my jet wherever we have to go.
I like that. See, it's always good to have a friend that has a jet. I don't necessarily have one that I can share with you, but it's nice to meet you.
Yeah.
With that, Falynn, I think that you've pretty much answered almost everything, except I always like to kind of end these interviews off on a positive note. Is there one thing that you can share with us? And I know this is kind of throwing you off a little bit, but maybe one thing that you can share with us that we don't necessarily get to see from you on TV.
Yeah, sure. I'm actually a very big philanthropist. I love giving back to the community. I just recently for Thanksgiving, and this was actually a last minute thing. I teamed up with Meals on Wheels Atlanta for Thanksgiving. There was a blast email that went out for Gwinnett County schools stating that for the first time, because I'm from Gwinnett County, and for the first time in God knows, I don't even know how long, we received this blast email that stated they were incapable of providing meals to certain families during the whole entire break of Thanksgiving. So that just automatically, it broke my heart because I used to be one of those families that depended on those meals. I come from a very poor background. So naturally, when I read that, I said, this is unacceptable. I teamed up, I called around. Oh God, it It took me forever. It took me about, 2 days, which, because Thanksgiving was what, maybe 3 days? No, I'm sorry, about 5 days away. Right. So it took me about 2 days to finally find somebody who would help me donate and give back and, make this like a big thing within the community. And Meals on Wheels Atlanta, they teamed up with me. So I was capable of providing turkeys, hams, and sacked lunches for a whole bunch of families. That was amazing. Hundreds of families. So yes, I'm very big on philanthropy. And I also I volunteer at City of Refuge, which is geared towards women who have been abused in the past, and they're trying to get their life in track. I also relate to that as well. So I hope you guys get to see a bit more of that.
Yeah, you're like a rose with layers. We have more to see, more to peel.
And there's a lot of layers.
Yeah, hey, that gives us something to watch. Again, we needed a cash shakeup in some capacity. So I really hope we get to see more and more of you. And I know that everybody I've spoken with so far absolutely loves having you on the show. So I can't wait to just see how you play out on the rest of the season.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited about what's to come. Stay tuned.
Yeah. And hopefully, again, I want a tagline from you. So we have big hopes for the future for you, Falynn. So thank you so much for joining us, and we can't wait to see you as a title holder.
Yay! I'm so excited.
All right. Bye, Falynn. I hope you have a great rest of your week.
Thank you. You as well.
All right, guys. Well, that's it. If you haven't already, go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell. How great was Falynn Guobadia from the Real Housewives of Atlanta? Guys, I loved her. She was amazing. If you haven't already, go ahead and check her out. I mean, her information is in the description of this video. Wow, what a great interview. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.
Thanks for watching Up and Adam.